Hey everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm your host, Anthony Toma. Today we're here with Robert Lulgjuraj.
Yes, sir.
Easy to say, not very easy to spell. He's running for Congress in the 10th District. We're going to get him over the finish line collectively. The Chaldeans, the Albanians, the Greeks, the American folk. All of us are going to do our job to get him there. Thanks for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself and take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Appreciate you having me on. I've
For sure.
watched your podcast before. You've had even friends on the podcast as well. So me standing in front of you is awesome, and
Nice.
appreciate it. And you're doing great work with the podcast. So
Thank
God
you.
bless your podcast.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I am, well, I grew up between 15 and 16 Mile and Ryan
Okay.
in Sterling Heights. Large Albanian populace, even larger Chaldean population. And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've been to Dream Market, Sahara, how much Doma I've ate in my life living in Sterling Heights, and how many Chaldean friends that I have, and shawarmas that I've consumed, that I would actually be the first, I like to say, Albanian member of Congress in United States history. So
let's make it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in Sterling Heights my whole life, went to public school there, and then for high school, you know, faith and family are a huge part of my family's background. Like many Chaldeans had immigrated to America, and my grandparents. I have a true American dream story. That's not just an Albanian story.
Let's hear
it's
it.
a Chaldean story, and it's an American story. So
Let's hear the story.
yeah, so my grandfather or my grandparents, they escaped communism, religious persecution, tyranny, oppression, and you know, being Catholic and living under a communist regime was obviously horrible circumstances.
Sure.
And so they left the country of their birth, like you know, many people in the Chaldean community as well, and came to America. And my grandfather worked on the line at Chrysler, Anthony, and my grandmother washed dishes, so she was a dishwasher in downtown Detroit. And my mom's a waitress, and my dad's a maintenance man. So I really do come from nothing. I come from humble beginnings, and faith and family are like the epicenter of our life. And so,
Well, if you have faith and family, you don't not come from nothing. You come from everything,
that's a great point.
right?
It's a great point.
So, Brother Rice?
Yeah, so my parents wanted a Catholic education for
There
me
you
and my
go.
siblings, and they worked really hard labor jobs to be able to afford that opportunity for us. And so I went to Brother Rice and made even more Chaldean friends there,
Yep.
friends that I'm even close to.
Can't get away from us.
No, and yeah, that's right, exactly. So yes, I went to Brother Rice, and then I went to Holy Cross College in Indiana, and I was the president of my college. Anthony,
Really?
I'm really proud of that, student body president. And then I came back home, and
Why'd you come back home?
well, home is where the heart is.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, for sure.
So came back home and back to Sterling Heights, and decided, I like standing up for people. I like being a voice for people. I like standing up for like truth and justice. And so when I was a student body president, that started to pique my interest in public service.
Very nice.
So I actually joined the Macomb County Republican Party right when I got back from college. And
Who's ahead of that?
at the time, it was a woman named Linda Torp. And there was no one young in the party, nobody ethnic in the party. And so when I went there, I think they were excited to see like a young, exuberant Albanian conservative that wanted to be a part of the party. And so I volunteered, Anthony. Like I
Very
knocked
nice.
doors, I did a lot of grunt work, phone calls, and that started to pique my interest in running for office later in life. And then I went to law school and graduated law school.
Where at?
Detroit Mercy.
Oh, nice.
School of Law. Yeah, and did that, and then public service is like at my core, right? Some people, I think, you know, like you, want to be entrepreneurs and successful business people, and obviously a lot of people in our communities do that. But I think what our communities lack, Anthony, is people in like public service.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
You know, people are starting to get into politics, and so I'm sure your parents were business people. Your generation also business people, but that third generation, I think in America, tends to like give back and get into policy and get into public positions and run for judge and mayor and city council and et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that's that last tier of, you know, you go from labor jobs, then second generation starts businesses, and I think now it's time for our generation to give back. And you know what, Anthony, whether you're Chaldean or Albanian, we make up the best fabric, I think, of this country.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And we need people like us in office.
So we have like Shenandoah, we have the Chaldean Chamber of Commerce, we have the Chaldean Foundation. What's in the Albanian community besides the church that's there and on the east side there? That's a beautiful church, beautiful hall, beautiful everything. So besides that, what do you guys have?
Yeah, so we would like, I think, to be more like the Chaldeans in that respect. We don't, and I think we are in the process of getting a Chamber of Commerce. We don't have our own facility yet, but there is a lot more, I think, population-wise. Chaldeans and the financial success of the Chaldean community is something I think to resemble, and for our community to try to take after and see as like a shining example. So I think the Chaldean community has a lot more in place as far as like community initiatives than the Albanians do. And so, yeah, we are working on a Chamber of Commerce, but hopefully...
Who do you have spearheading that? Maybe I could put him in touch with Martin Manna, and he can kind of help them, guide them through the process and make it easier on them.
Yeah, well, that would be great. And I think Martin has met with several people from the community. But, when you have like a large ethnic population, each group's sometimes tends to like get together, right? And so it's so hard to gather everyone. But, and I'm not saying it because it's just our campaign, Anthony, but I think this campaign could be, especially if we're victorious, could be a way for us to put our arms around people, bring them together, and, try to run alongside what Martin Mann and the Chaldean Community Foundation
that's why everyone's got to get behind you to help make that happen. Sure. Especially the Albanians in your community, and we as Catholic, God-fearing folks anyone out there that's God-fearing should get behind you and help you accomplish what you're trying to do in Congress, and then into the community. That hopefully it spearheads everything and gets everything rolling.
Sure. So have you been involved with the Chaldean Community Foundation, or?
I was on the board for a while there. I think I was there 6 years. I was there. I was I think the vice president of the foundation for 1 or 2 years, something like that. I can't remember if it was 1 year or 2 years, but yeah, I get involved. This whole the whole podcast was started to kind of break the stereotype of Chaldeans being grocers and party store owners and that. So what we do is we highlight Chaldean products, businesses, and services, and then we bring on people like you that benefit the community, and the community can benefit from you being in place in Congress, because it's always good to have friends in high places, and in positions of power. Talk a little bit about Congress and the state of the Congress these days, and how your job is going to be a benefit to everyone that helps you get there.
Sure. Yeah. So I think my background will actually make me effective, and so obviously being a first generation person here, I think I have a good understanding of the needs and plights and people in my community. And like you said, a lot of Chaldeans, a lot of Albanians, a lot of people that escaped from Europe and Balkan areas. And we care about our faith, and we're God-fearing people, and we care about our families, and so we want those, I think, at the pinnacle of like every society. And and then I was a prosecutor. So after I actually graduated from law school, I was a Wayne County prosecutor for a long time, and first Albanian-American Wayne County prosecutor, but I met a couple Chaldean prosecutors that did great work in the office, and immediately those individuals were like very close friends of mine and colleagues. And so, when you share like a same value system and same upbringing, you want to like coalesce around like those type of people. And so having someone like me in office, especially for my community and your community, nobody's having a brother or a cousin or a friend in office is the best thing you can have. And I really do. I understand the needs of people from our community, and I think your job as a congressman or congressman or woman in your district is like to put those people first, and always fight for the home team, and always fight for the residents that live in that district, and never let them down, and always lead with like honesty and integrity. And I think that's, as Chaldeans and Albanians, that's the way that we live our lives with our families. And so I think if you put that like at the forefront of your mind, you're going to implement like good policy.
For sure. Yep. So give us a little Congress 101, so just kind of the hierarchy of it all. So 10th district, what does that mean? What is 10th, 12th, 10th, what does it all mean in the scheme of the whole big giant government?
Sure. Yeah, okay, so I guess if you're asking, the people think like the president passes laws, and that's
Yeah.
like not true. It's,
Right.
he has like executive powers, and so he can give executive orders. But for a law to be made permanent, it has to go through Congress and Senate and signed by the president. And so, if you want laws passed that affect our economy, that affect like law and order, that affect almost every aspect of military spending, healthcare spending, et cetera, then that goes through the halls of Congress. And some people say that, well, you're closest to your representative, right? We don't believe in monarchies, we don't believe in like kings and queens,
Right.
and so we limit our president to 8 years. But your member of Congress runs every 2 years, and if you're not happy with that individual, the recourse is for you to vote them out of office.
Right.
And so that person is really supposed to be responsible. You're the closest representative to the people because you're supposed to live in this district and you're supposed to care about the people, and so that's why you're constantly running and you're supposed to constantly be in the community. And so I'll just like quickly go over the district. Tons of Chaldeans live in this district, and so it's 14 cities. I'm sorry if I forget one of them. It's unintentional, but it's Warren, East Point, St. Clair Shores, Sterling Heights. We get Utica, Harrison Township, part of Macomb Township, Shelby Township, Rochester Hills, and I think I got all of Mount Clemens, Fraser. And so this community, I think, deserves, it's a hardworking blue. You've never had a Chaldean-American in the halls of Congress. God willing, you all will get there. You've gotten close before with some individuals, but I really think the way this district's set up, it's a Republican district. We're running as a Republican.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ethnic people in this district voted for Trump. And the Chaldean Community Foundation, you couldn't even get in line at 15 Mile and Ryan this past cycle. There was so many Chaldean. And honestly,
They registered a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think the Albanians don't realize it, but and I think the Chaldeans are starting to. But you have so much financial will and political will, Anthony. And just your community alone has the power to overturn an election, to change an election, to pick who goes into power. And if there's organization, you can coalesce all those people. You can write your own history.
We all need to get behind it for sure, because it's. Local government is where it all starts, right? So the powers that the Congress has writes the laws, right?
Yes.
Is that true on a local level as well?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's like the genius behind like America. They don't want like one politician to have all the power. If it's like a local ordinance, you're going to go to like your local city hall, your city council members, your mayors. If it's like a state law or state statute, then you're going to go to like your local state rep or your state senator, governor's office. And then if it's a federal issue, it's going to be split up into your senators, your congress people. And so I think when power's divvied up that way, it allows not just one person to potentially abuse power or to use it for the wrong reasons. And you know what? Chaldeans are very savvy individuals, and obviously my community, your community, like economic issues are always at the forefront because we're generally merchants, we're generally business people, and so we want to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we shouldn't stigmatize business owners, and especially in this district that we're in, there's a lot of Chaldeans that have property, that have shops, that own a ton of businesses, and they want those businesses to be financially successful, not only for themselves, Anthony. They should be financially successful, and as your Congress person, we want you to be successful because we do believe in capitalism. It's the only like economic system in the world where you make rich people rich without having to make like poor people poor. But look how many jobs that your community creates or business people create and how many mouths they feed. And so I think you should have somebody in office that like recognizes that and appreciates that, and not, tries to work with the business community, because sometimes some politicians are not very responsive, right? Lights are off, doors locked in their office, and you're never going to have that issue with us, Anthony.
No, I understand that very hardworking people, the Albanian community. So without,
have you ever had to get like in an interaction with like, local politics, state politics, like advocating for something with your business, or?
Not so much. So until Trump was in office, and I'm 58 years old, until Trump ran, I didn't know the first thing about politics.
Okay.
Zero. Never involved. If I voted just because I wasn't doing anything that day.
Okay.
I wasn't voting because I had a purpose. It was just for the whatever reason. But now that, when you have kids, you start to think about the future and who's running and who's driving the ship, because the way that you're going to leave the state of the state or the country or whatever is going to be, your kids are going to inherit it, your kids and your grandkids. So by you putting yourself out there and being someone that's going to advocate for the future of the United States of America, that's, it's a very honorable thing that you're doing.
So let me, how old are your kids, and do they ever talk to you about politics or this last election?
Not
like,
really.
Does social media bring them in? Or?
My 13-year-old daughter talks about it a little bit. My 16-year-old son, not much at all.
Okay.
And the 8-year-old, nothing. Of course, obviously not. She didn't know anything. She knows spiders and rainbows and lollipops. Everything's great. She's learning how to do a flip on trampoline. That's her thing.
Okay.
But so, without giving your opponent any name recognition, who are you running against? What kind of person are you running against?
Yeah, sure. So right now we are the leading Republican, and actually yesterday the quarter ended, the financial quarter. So we've actually out fundraised by the grace of God. I mean, our community's like lifted us up.
I saw you're in the $600,000 range.
Yeah, we've raised over $650,000.
Nice. Beautiful.
And
congrats.
Thank you. In a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I don't come from wealth or privilege. I didn't write that check myself. It actually came from like auto workers, waitresses, waiters, small business owners, nurses, et cetera. And so I think that's like a testament of like what we're putting together. And I think more people are engaged now in politics than like ever before, which is kind of interesting. But so we're raising money. As far as I can garner, Anthony, I'm actually, I believe, the only person like born and bred in this district and like lived the entirety of my life in this district. And I think
so maybe a plant that's
some plants, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's going to be potentially on like both sides of the aisle. Now, the Democrats have several people running. They're going to run against each other. They are going to spend money against each other. Right now, the Republican field is pretty light, but I don't see any formidable. I mean, we're the most formidable Republican now. There are some rumors of maybe some Oakland County people getting in. They don't necessarily, some of which live in the district, some of which don't. But I think they're actually looking to see, because in politics, they're starting to realize Chaldeans have political power. Albanians have political power. We live in these areas. We have large population in these areas. We can actually get our own people elected now.
Yeah.
And I think they know that, and they know that we can raise money off of our community because we give with our heart. People in our communities do. And that's like a formidable recipe when you put votes and money together from your community.
Right.
And so they're actually, I think, waiting to see, Anthony, how much money we put on the board, because unfortunately, like, money does go a long way in like getting your message out. So.
Yeah, I heard rumblings about an Oakland County individual that might try to run in that 10th district, which doesn't really make much sense to me. Stick to Oakland County if you're going to run. If you want to be in Congress, go stay home. Don't go trying to tell other people or speaking for other people when it's not your place.
I agree.
Let the grassroots speak for the people.
Sure, and I don't know why that, I haven't looked into it that like deeply, like legally, but in Congress,
where's
you
it
can
standing?
Yeah, like, you know, I think you should actually have to like live in the district for a certain amount of time, have a residency requirement, you know, because technically, Anthony, like I guess, you know, if you run for Congress, you can run right now in the Upper Peninsula. Well, what experiences
do you know
do
about
have?
that?
Yeah, you know, so yeah.
How many bears have you shot? No.
Exactly, right. Exactly, yeah.
So what other sort of fundraisers do you have coming up that people should know about?
Yeah, so I just been like so concentrated on just getting through this past quarter that you're like my first interview or event after. Well, actually, we had an auto rally today outside of an auto plant in Sterling Heights, handing out our literature.
Nice.
But I don't have, so you know, we'll be more than happy to have here at your beautiful studio have a fundraiser if that's what you're offering.
Sure.
But yeah, no, we don't have anything on the books,
No.
brother.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
All
but you know, we're gonna start to recalibrate. We're gonna take a breath for a day here and then start to chart like this next quarter out.
So they gauge the raise at the quarter. You have like you have something that you have a goal that you have to meet, right?
Yep. You want to have goals, right? And you know, this campaign's gained like so much momentum that we've like totally surpassed the goal from this last quarter. But you can never have like enough money in politics,
right, for sure.
And
so how can somebody that's watching right now donate to the campaign?
Yeah, they go to robertlforcongress.com. So
Robert L for Congress.
FORcongress.com.
Okay. And we'll put that link down below in the description so you guys can kind of go down there and take a look.
Yeah, we didn't come here for donations, Anthony. We just came here to have a great conversation with you. But you know what? I appreciate that plug.
Donations are donations. We got to have them, right? You can't play baseball without a baseball bat, right?
There you go.
So
there you go, brother.
It looked like the Tigers today, stranding all those folks on the bases. It was a rough day today.
All right, hey, so all right, Anthony, I have a question. What do you think people like you know, you were kind of like never really involved, because, you know, most people are not. They're busy driving their kids to soccer practice or starting their business. People don't generally pay attention to politics unless it's like you're really into it. But like, what do you think people care about? What do you care about? And, you know, if you were someone like me, if you could give like me advice of like approaching people, whether just being a regular citizen or even somebody that's Chaldean, what do you?
I think for you, because you are one of us, that you just be yourself, and you'll come across honest, genuine, and you know, like relatable, you know, and that's what a lot of politicians just aren't. They're not relatable, and they try to be, and you can, you know, the average Joe can see right through somebody that's fake and that has an agenda going in and trying to play a role that it just doesn't fit them. And so far from what I've gathered from you, it's, you know, you're a very genuine individual. You have an agenda for the people, not for yourself, which is kind of cool. As far as, you know, in the Chaldean community, again, you know, you grew up with them, so you already know them. You have the taste buds that can handle. We break bread. We break bread and eat over, you know, discuss politics and family matters and everything over food. And so, you know, without you now that you know what the food looks like and know what it tastes like, you won't be making those faces like, what the heck is this? My mom sent me with a pot of dolma in like second grade for like the thing, and the kids were just, and you not having that look on your face while you're, you know, making conversation helps too.
Sure, that's fun.
I mean, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, yeah.
We care about community. We care about the children. We care about the future. Obviously, you know, people have to be able to put, you know, food on their table. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Okay. We're all one people. We're all family. We're all blood. We all come from Adam and Eve, and there's a God up above, and everyone's got to do their part to make sure that the people that are kind of losing their mind and trying to, you know, push people into the dark need to be kind of stamped out and exposed.
And then also, like, let me ask you this. from my perspective, the Chaldeans have been like very successful, I think, recently of like bringing people together with the Chaldean Community Foundation, the chamber. There's a legal group. I'm sure there's other business group. I think there's like some other business group. Sometimes, you know, in our community, we're like strong-willed people, and those personalities could like stop good forward progress. Why do you think that you all have been able to, like, you know, or how have you been able to push through
Time.
that?
Just time. It takes time to wake up to understand that, you know, it's united we stand, divided we fall. You know, like it's in the national anthem, right?
Yeah.
So it takes time to kind of learn that and to understand that, and you know, the generations go by and time goes by, and then you all, you know, kind of have a common goal. And so that's where the community comes together, and it's not without, you know, pushback and drama and everything. So it's baby steps, man. It's just put a group together, and just don't wait for everyone's approval. Just name your name, put your name on it, put the Albanian name in it, and just run with it.
Okay.
And then they'll follow. Build it and they will come. That's the way it works.
Sure.
Hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully your community is a beautiful community. Some of the most beautiful women in the world.
Agreed.
Very handsome gentlemen, very hardworking, committed, and you know, when you have God above, man, there's nothing that could stop you.
I agree.
As a community. Is there anything we didn't cover that you want to cover? We kind of want to wrap.
Yeah, no, I think you've hit it all. I can't tell. Yeah, go ahead. Anthony.
Give a couple minute a pitch, just to get people to warm up to you and understand what you're going to do when you get in that seat.
Sure. Yeah, well, I like how you just mentioned God, like previously. You know, when these seats come open, Anthony, they only come open every 20, 30, 40 years, right? These are prestigious positions. Yeah, because most Congress people, you ever see them on TV, they have one foot in the grave, one foot in Congress, right? Yeah. They're old, they're out of touch.
One foot in the coffin and the other on a banana peel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and so I think we need people younger, people dynamic, people charismatic, people that come from like horrible circumstances like our families did, people that believe in God. You know, if you look at the history of this country and you go home and Google it, this country was founded on a belief and a faith in God, and it is important. And I think when civilizations, Anthony, like deviate from that, then your whole life falters. I mean, look, as like a human being, you know, if you don't put, I think, God at the center of your life, then everything else starts to like dissipate. And so same thing for a business, same thing for a country. And I think like society now wants you to hide your faith, and Chaldeans are some of the most like faithful, resilient people that I know. And we all, you know, a lot of us keep like a crucifix, and so do I, like around my necklace, but you know, they want you to tuck that underneath and hide it, but there's nothing wrong with like espousing that. And so you know, if we have more kind, caring, God-fearing people, we're going to be more successful as a society. And so I'm never going to be afraid to tell people that I'm Catholic. Good. You know, whether I'm in a courtroom or whether I'm like in the halls of Congress, number one. Obviously, I believe in like the nuclear family. I believe in the Constitution. Right, separation of powers, you know, we were talking about earlier, is not giving power to one king or queen. It's like giving it to elected, you know, we're a constitutional republic, which means Anthony can run for office tomorrow if he doesn't like his mayor, his city council person, whatever. And so I do believe in that structure. It is a good structure if you get like good people in there. And so I'm a public service oriented person. If you want to chase wealth and build a business, God bless you. I'm like the reverse. I'm someone that just like gives. And that's why I was a prosecutor, and I was a prosecutor in Detroit, not a private lawyer. I try to use my God-given skills to like benefit people and like benefit victims. And so I think if you get people that have a heart for public service, then you're going to get better outcomes on like any type of policy prescription. And then, you know, to be honest with you, this is a lot of Chaldeans voted for President Trump last cycle. A lot of Albanians did. When I go to events, when I talk to people, people are very happy with the current administration. At least in this particular district, they really are. And it's an America First district. It's a Republican district, and people want you in line with that like value set. And so I'm going to go up there and obviously espouse those those values that I just told you. I'm not the type, I'm not confused on 57 genders. I know which restroom we should be using, right? I mean, these are not even like this is just like common sense. This is basic biological stuff, and so I'm not going to get into the weeds and all that stuff. I want to get to work on like important things that like gives relief to people, right? And so, I'm going to stand shoulder to shoulder with like the current administration, because that's what the Albanians in the district want. That's what the Chaldeans want, but that's what a lot of the blue collar folks in this district want. And so, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to do good things, and I'm a prosecutor, so I do believe in law and order. Crime's like a big thing for me. Crime is a big thing for people in the business community too. You want to be able to raise your children, and you want to be able to start your business without being attacked, criminalized, brutalized, or what have you. And so we do need clean, safe streets, and that's something that's like always on the forefront of my mind.
Good.
And then the economy is probably like the biggest thing too, is people really care about their pocketbooks, and people in this district live paycheck to paycheck, and I was raised paycheck to paycheck, Anthony, and so no one's gonna like lecture me on how tough it is to
right.
So we care, and we're always going to be loyal. And if you'll have me back, maybe before the election or even after the election when we win, I'll always be a friend to you. I appreciate how hospitable and nice and the reputation you have in your podcast. And
thank you.
You call me, I answer, and a lot of politicians don't do that. And our office is probably going to be in Sterling Heights when we win. And so, you bring someone to our office. If I can't handle their problem on a federal level, then I'm going to find the state partner, I'm going to find the local partner to be able to help you through that issue. And so, I really believe in like using your skills to benefit others, and I'm never going to let my community down or your community.
Awesome. How can one volunteer to help the campaign?
Yeah, if they just follow us on social media, if they message us, if they email us, if they go on the website, I know like a lot of young Albanian kids, Chaldean kids want to get involved in a campaign. It builds their resume. It exposes them to like networking. They can get internships. They can get letters of recommendation. I mean, there's just so much that goes with a political campaign. And if you like politics, you can continue down that path. If you don't, you can take those skills, and they're very transferable. I mean, you can take campaign skill sets into like starting a business or into the private sector or what have you. And so we would be. I can't tell you. I'd be so glad to have some young young, old, what have you, on our staff, have some Chaldeans on our staff to cater to like this community's needs.
For sure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you in the halls of Congress, for sure.
Sounds good. We'll let President Trump and his administration know that the Chaldean community is behind them, and maybe we can tell some. Yeah, he knows.
Yeah,
for sure he knows. And tell him, who knows, Anthony, he may get on your podcast one day.
Let's do it. Yeah, we'll get him out here. Thanks.
Yep.
All right.